SimCoder here, and before we begin, let me just say I'm sorry for not being uploading as much lately. It is because I'm currently having a lot of work at college, and I'm doing some work on the side, and because of that I don't have that much time to record, but I'll try to push out as many videos as possible, especially on this series because you guys have been lacking. So yeah, now let's get right on with it and go into our TINDER project. And what we are going to do today is learning how we can populate a recycler view with data from the Firebase database. And as you know, we have the matches, which we did in the previous lesson, and we want to place there the image and the name and the ID of the user that the current user matched with. So yeah, let's get right on with it. And the first thing that we need to do is to get the matches ID that the user has matched with. And I currently don't have any match here, but you may remember. Actually, I'm going to stop the video and load up TINDER so that you can see. Wait a second. Okay, so I have the TINDER app here, and let's just swipe right, and in here, as you can see, we'll have the matches. And what we need to do is to find a way to loop through the matches, find the ID, and then go to the user ID, the match ID, and find the image and name. And that's it. So yeah, you'll see in a second how this works. It will be extremely simple. So the first thing that we are going to do is actually to add one text view to the item match, which is the name. So add another. Let's call it match name. Matches name, even though this isn't necessary. And let's place them inside the linear layouts. Wrap content. Actually, the width will be match parent, but we'll change it in a second. And the orientation will be vertical. Let's place the gravity as center with match parents. And let's give some padding in between the text views. I'm placing the ID. You may, when you release an app, and if you are going to, you want to make sure that you remove the matches ID. But for now, match doesn't match like this. Okay, that's a mistake. So, but for now, because we are developing it, it is good for you to have them, because it is easier to debug. I'm also going to make the image smaller because it is too big at the moment. I'm going to make it 50 SP by 50 SP and give a padding to the left of 20 SP. Okay, so yeah, that's all. Let's go right inside the ViewHolders, and I'm going to take care of this right now because that way we don't have to deal with it later. So match name, I'm just importing the text view, and I'm also going to do the same for the image view. The ID will be match image. Copy that and go inside here, and as always just do the image view and say, instead of match image, my match image. And now instead of text view, it is image view. Just copy and paste that, and there we go. So now we can close the view holders, we can close the item matches, and we are going to go inside the match activity and start working on getting the information from the database, and later on, as we need it, we'll change the object and the adapter. So yeah, let me just check. Okay, we'll be removing that, as simple as that. So yeah, we can just start working on here. So the first thing that we need is get user match ID, and this is a function, and this function is, as I've said previously, going to loop through the matches of each of the current user, getting the IDs of the matches. So the database reference will be match db equals to Firebase database dot get reference dot get instance, I'm sorry, dot get reference dot child users. Now let me just grab the Firebase database so that I can see what's the location of it. Dot, and we need the current user at this moment, so I'm going to make a string. I'm actually going to make it a global variable, so private string current user ID. Current user ID, and we can just go inside here, and I'm going to place it at the top because it is important to get as soon as possible. Firebase auth, here we go, dot get instance dot get current user dot get UID, and I believe we don't need the toString. No, so we can leave it without the toString. And now just place the current user ID inside the next child, and I'm just going to revive your memory. It is users, user ID, connections, matches, and only then we are where we need to be. Dot child connections, and make sure you don't make any spelling mistake in here, otherwise it won't work, because it will try to find something that doesn't exist. So matches, and the thing about this word is that I don't know if this is matches, the ones that light up, if this is the plural of match, I don't know, it doesn't really matter, it's just good or bad English, and we are programmers, so that doesn't really matter. So now we simply do a listener for single event value, because we are not interested in being added in adding matches anytime it is added while we are in this activity. So if the user wants to get the most updated match list, he must go back and re-enter this activity. So listener for single event value, new value event listener, and it will create it for you. And now we do the thing that we always do. So if data snapshot.exists, just to make sure that there's something in there, otherwise the app will crash. And now we do the for, as I was saying. So data snapshot, and this will be a child, 2 points, data snapshot dot get children. Okay, and now we are going to get fetch. We are going to get the matches information. So fetch match info information, and we are going to pass the key of this child. It is it is looking through. I'm going to trying to explain to you as best as I can, because it is kind of hard to understand if you're not using a debugger to figure it out. So it gets in here, and let's say it is this match, the match of this user that it is trying to get. It gets in here, and this data snapshot.get children will pass the first match, in this case this match, to this variable right here. And so now you can work on it as if it was a child and nothing else. So if you want to get this value right here, which is the key, you simply say match.getKey. After that's done, and if we have more matches inside here, it would go on to the next line, and we'll have that line, and you can do whatever you want with it. Then go to the next one, and next one, and next one. That's the whole goal of this for loop. So yeah, you can simply say get key and create this method. It is created. Fetch has a spelling mistake. Fetch. Okay. And now we'll try to get the match information, the other user information, and I'm going to just copy this database reference because it is similar up to some points, so it is only different here. Okay, so users key, that's the user DB, not match. That's the database reference that we want, because we are going to access, in the case of this match, we are going to access this child right here and get the name, profile image, URL. So yeah, let's go ahead and say usersdb dot add listener for single event value, new value event listener, and as always, if data snapshot dot exists, then we do something, otherwise we won't. And yeah, so now we can simply get the user's ID and name and profile image URL. So we must get the user's ID because this, I can't remember the name of this function, but when we call this, we lose this key. So we must get it again. And so to do that, we simply say data snapshot.getKey. Then we can if data snapshot dot child name dot get value different from null, then we can get that, and I'm going to create a variable right here in order to do that. Get name and the get profile image URL, and now let me just check how it is right here because of okay. So if it is null, you can simply say name equals to data snapshot dot child name dot get, not key but value dot to string, and that's it. Now do the same for the profile image URL, just copy from there. Okay, and now all that's left is to pass this data inside the object, inside the matches object, so that we can go inside the matches adapter and populate the recycler view. So we are getting really close to that. So right now, as we have it, let me just actually delete this, move it inside here so that you can see what we have to change. We must have all of this. So inside here we have right now an integer. We are going to change that. Yeah, we only need to pass three things: user ID, name, and profile image URL. So let's try to do that, and you'll see why there is an error that will show up. And profile image URL. And the error is because our matches object isn't ready to receive three strings. Right now it is only ready to receive one, which is the user ID. And it is right here, so we must create another two for that. So name and profile image URL. And now it is kind of a boring process, but we must copy everything inside here. Copy that and that. And now we need another two sets of these functions. So get name and be sure to change everything. Name, okay. And then for the last one, and there we go. So now no error should pop up here, exactly as we needed it to. And yeah, so all that's left is actually to give pass the values of this object to the recycler view. And it is already notifying, so when it notifies, it goes inside the adapter and does this for the current position that it's notified about, if it is showing on the screen. So all that's left is to actually go inside here and say name, match name, and instead of get user ID it is get name. Okay, let me just check adapter, where is it? Adapter. Okay, let's just try to do that. Light dot with context dot load load what? Load these matches, get position dot get profile image URL into the older dot m match image, and that's it. We don't need to do anything else. Actually, let me try one thing, which is set older dot get it can't, so there shouldn't be any problem with using context. Let's see if that checks out. So let's run the app and see if everything runs well. Okay, just one more thing, you must do an if matches get position, get profile image URL different from the equals to default, and put an exclamation point so that it is different, because if it is equal to default, then you don't want to change anything, you want to leave it as it is, which is this image right here, and not change anything. So yeah, but for now I can show you and grab the database, and this is, I can't really remember. Okay, this is a female, so it shows up an image right here. It is all black, it is just like that, and it has the name, which is male, and if you notice it is different from sex because it doesn't have a capital M, and it has the user ID. So we now will be able to click it and go to wherever we want. We just need to add a few lines of code for that to happen, and we'll start working on the chat part of the app, and we are almost done with that. So yeah, that's all for now. Thank you all very much for watching. Hit that like button and subscribe, please don't forget. Again, I'm sorry for not uploading as much lately, but I'm trying really hard to do a lot of things at once, and it is being kind of hectic around here. So yeah, thank you for your patience, and I hope to see you again tomorrow. Ciao.